I welcome everyone to my channel. And again, stories from life. A novel that will change your life. Martha Shields' right-pointing arrow, hope for happiness. Jake gazed at Claire's soulful face, fascinated. He remembered the time when he himself talked enthusiastically about companies where you can invest money. When he could talk for hours about how to benefit from the tax laws. But it was a long time ago. A long time ago. Before he made so much money he couldn't handle it anymore. Before he had to constantly get rid of people who wanted to benefit from knowing him. Before Alan died. He couldn't even think of anything since the minute Alan's last girlfriend called and said his best friend had been rushed to a hospital in Denver. Jake rushed there, but it was too late. Alan died on the way to the hospital. Jake was so shocked that he dropped everything. He felt as if he himself had died too. But why, he did not understand. Up to this day, it wasn't until he inherited the rocking tea that he realized how far they had gone from real life. The Townsends have lived on this land for more than 100 years, as long as the Andersons, at Bar Hanging 7 Ranch. Jake wanted his land to be inherited by his children and grandchildren. The trouble is, he doesn't have them. Alan's death was sudden. What if now the elevator broke and fell down? Jake shifted his focus and let Claire's voice distract him from his dark thoughts. At first he listened half-heartedly. She was more interested in herself. Jake stared into her sparkling eyes, her moving hands. In the short time they'd been in the elevator, he'd seen her scared. Smiling, angry, uncertain, and sad. These changes struck him with their speed and liveliness. How different she was from the women he usually dealt with. Those were mostly experienced, cold and calm. And they all wanted one thing, to get his wedding ring on the ring finger. And also his money. But so far none have succeeded. Jake couldn't help but smile at her first tirade. For many years, the only person who dared to raise his voice at him was Alan. Everyone else showed him respect, or rather, not to him, but to his money. Separate phrases spoken by her surfaced in my memory. I need several $1,000s to get pregnant, otherwise I will never have children. Jake frowned. What did she mean? But before he had time to think about it properly, something in Claire's words caught his attention. She talked about improving cash flow. This had never occurred to him or Alan. He quickly asked her a question. She answered without difficulty. Then began to explain in detail. So, in the pony, there is still something to improve. Meanwhile, Claire continued to talk and surprise him with her knowledge of money transfers and investments. Her ideas, individually, would not have produced huge savings. From Claire's words, Jake realized that she was seeing trees rather than a whole forest. But Alan worked the same way. And Jake didn't care. That is why they have worked so well together. Claire's suggestions, save on this, add from here to here, could bring in a lot of money for pony investments for a long time to come. Suddenly the elevator was brightly lit. The feeling was about the same as in the cinema. When the lights are turned on after a long session, the conversation ended abruptly. The transformer has been fixed, Claire said. Jake caught the disappointment in her voice and was surprised to find himself thinking the same thing. He glanced at his watch. It's already 20 past 11. We've been here for 2.5 hours. So long? I didn't even notice. Oh, we're on our way. She got up and picked up his jacket from the floor. She shook it gently and handed it to Jake. He slowly reached out for his jacket. Jake felt like he knew Claire Eden better than anyone in his entire life, even better than Alan. She got up and picked up his jacket from the floor. She shook it gently and handed it to Jake. He slowly reached out for his jacket. Jake felt like he knew Claire Eden better than anyone in his entire life, even better than Alan. This unnerved him in no small way. You're looking at me again, she chided softly. In the bright light of the lamps, he was convinced that she had not lost the least of her charm, which, as he thought, was only the merit of the semi-darkness. Now he saw that her hair was hazel. Her eyes were bright blue, like the sky on a sunny day, and her skin was white and smooth, like snow. Is it? She lowered her eyes. Yes. Don't you like it? She seemed to wince slightly. It is not polite. Which parking lot do you want? To the first. Claire pressed 2 buttons just as the emergency phone rang. Hello? Yes, everything is in order. Yes. We are just going down. Good. She hung up. They are waiting for us downstairs. Yes, Jake nodded. They want to make sure nobody raped anyone in the elevator. So, when can we continue the conversation? She looked at him in surprise. Do you want to talk more? You haven't said a word about the tax system yet. Maybe tomorrow? Tomorrow? At what time? She perked up. How about dinner? Here the elevator stopped. The gleaming doors opened and they were in the hall. A man in a blue uniform was waiting for them, looking worried. He asked both of them to go to his office to fill out some papers. Claire tried to reassure the guard that her disheveled appearance had nothing to do with the incident. But Jake silenced her with a gesture. He took out a business card and handed it to the employee. Send these papers to my office tomorrow. I'll have my assistant fill them out. He glanced at the card and turned pale. Then he fussed, but Jake interrupted all his attempts. Right now, all we want is to get home as soon as possible. The guard took the hint and left. When his footsteps faded down the hall, Jake put on his coat and said, I'll walk you to the car. Where is she? She's not there. The gearbox in my car decided today was the perfect day to break down. Jake thought for a moment, then pressed the call button. I'll take you. No need. I'll take a taxi. No, I'll take you. She lifted her chin sharply. Jake already knew that this meant only one thing. She was going to object. In order not to waste time on bickering, he pointed to the windows. Look, the rain hasn't stopped yet. How can a gentleman leave a lady waiting for a taxi in this weather? The chin rose even higher. I can take very good care of myself. Jake smiled, which seemed to irritate her even more. She didn't seem to be afraid to piss him off. He did not even suspect that he yearned for ordinary human communication to such an extent. I will take you home because I have a car and you don't. Do you understand? You are going to take me home because you want to protect me from a bad, scary robber or rapist. So, I have been living alone for 7 years, and no one even thought of robbing and killing me. The elevator doors opened before them. No one should walk the streets of Denver alone this late. So perhaps 100. She narrowed her eyes, looked at him, then sighed. Please forgive me. For some reason, you have awakened the worst features in me, just like my brothers. She stepped into the cockpit and turned around. He followed. To be continued. If you like the video, subscribe to my channel and press the bell to nothing don't miss.